in our efforts to try and be more sophisticated in how we talk about women as a whole, Indigenous women have come across as an important group.
Well, as UN Women, we view all women as important. But the issue of Indigenous women has been on the international landscape for a very long time because of the peculiar forms of discrimination that they face at all levels and across all sectors. A peculiar thing about Indigenous women is that they not only think about their individual rights as women, but they also think about the collective rights of their communities because of the way their ancestral territories, natural resources, intellectual property rights have been mistreated over the years. And as we know, Indigenous peoples have been subjected to various forms of colonialism. And this has affected the way in which they live, as well as the context in which they live.
Now, earlier you said histories of colonization have impacted on the experiences of Indigenous women. Are Indigenous women located only in particular countries? I mean, is it only just about an experience of colonization that has brought Indigenous women to light, or is this a more global group and set of people that we need to be aware of and working around and to?
Indigenous peoples are located all over the world in at least all the regions, I would say. And the reason why the issue of colonial rule is important is because Indigenous peoples view themselves as the first owners of the land. And so this is why the issue of abuse of rights and exploitation of their rights come in. For Indigenous women, there are certain issues that we need to take note of. And this is where we see discrimination not only between men and women come to play, but also distinctions between different groups of women. So in specific countries, for example, you will find that rates of specific forms of violence may be higher for Indigenous women compared to other groups of women in the country. And so this is why sometimes we need to ask ourselves, would it be useful for us to not just look at women more broadly as a group, but also to focus on those that are facing various forms of intersecting discrimination? May I just add that one special rapporteur put it so nicely. He said that Indigenous women are at the crossroads and are at the intersection of various forms of discrimination. In one breath, they face discrimination based on sex, race, and ethnicity. If they have other intervening factors, then this is compounded, such as through disability, location, sexual orientation, and age. And I think this is where the issue of intersectionality comes in and is very important to our work.